like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open your shell so the world can see. You're a beautiful pearl. Live your day like you mean it. And don't forget who you are. You're free to go anywhere. There's no distance too far. And I just can't get enough of your energy. I just can't get enough. You're the spark shining in the dark. Oh, 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 oh.
Welcome to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. I'm so excited you're here today. We have a fabulous show, as always, but fabulous show in store for you. It Is What It is all about real people, real life stories, and real life adversities, overcoming those adversities and inspiring other people. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying all of these incredible stories of adversity and overcoming. It's really, truly is inspiring. Now, mitzvah time. What's a mitzvah? You all know by now, because I know a lot of you who never knew what the word mitzvah is reaching out to me saying, I did a mitzvah today. I think that's so adorable. So a mitzvah, a good deed. I'm going to tell you something that just happened yesterday. I was driving in my neighborhood. Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't even in my neighborhood. It was in another neighborhood, but I never see this in my neighborhood anymore. Kids doing a lemonade stand. These are two middle school boys doing a lemonade stand. I was like, wow, these kids are working. So I thought, you know what, I have to pull over. So I actually had to turn around, then turn around again, and pulled over, gave them $5, and didn't drink the lemonade. But the kids were like, thank you. And I said, keep doing it. That's awesome. Kudos to you. My kids did this, and at least you're doing something to make a little money. So I'm all about hustling. So good for you guys. Good for you. Our giveaway this week is one of my books. It is what it is. And remember, you need to comment, like, and share in order to win any of the giveaways. So, and you're going to want to comment, like, and share, because the story, the show today, wait till you meet Clayton and wait till you meet Stella. What an incredible, incredible story. So when we come back from this commercial break, you are going to meet Clayton Carroll and his mom, Stella Beard. They are fabulous. They live in Kentucky. And Clayton was diagnosed when he was about 9 months old with something called Williams syndrome. And I've never heard of it until I met them. I'm sure most of you have never heard of this, but 1 in 20,000 are diagnosed with Williams syndrome. And when we come back, you're going to absolutely fall in love with Clayton. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Silvermine at Home, a Connecticut-based non-medical home care agency servicing Connecticut and parts of New York. Silvermine caters to their clients' needs while offering peace of mind to their families so their loved one can age in place and live their best life possible. Call today to see how they can make a difference in you or your loved one's life. Our family caring for yours. Visit silvermineathome.com or call 203-228-5007.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. We have two fabulous guests here today with us. We have Clayton Carroll and Stella Beard. Welcome. Welcome, Clayton. Welcome, Stella. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Doing awesome. I'm doing awesome.
Thank you so much for having us.
I was going to thank you first.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
You beat me to it. So where do you both live?
Well, we live in a little town called Dunville, Kentucky.
Wow, Kentucky. I love it.
Yes, Kentucky.
Can you tell by our accent at all?
No. I love your accents.
I wondered if you could tell or not. I just was curious.
That's not a giveaway. So, one day I'm coming to visit. I like you guys.
Please. I told you we have a cabin and everything. We'd love to have you.
And the cabin is not a cabin. Cabin's big.
No,
No.
we call it a house, like a cabin house.
Oh,
Cabin house. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It actually has running water, believe it or not.
That's awesome. I'm coming to visit. I like you. I'm coming to visit. We definitely clicked. You know, Clayton,
right.
your mom and I were talking on the phone, and I swear, your mom's like, you know, if you live closer, like we'd be best friends. And I said,
We would be besties, that's for sure.
we can still be.
We can just be long distance besties, kind of like Clayton has with his girlfriend. There you go.
Exactly. It's on.
That's right. That's right.
So I want to get into why you're here on the show, and I thank you again. Clayton, you have something called Williams syndrome.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What is it? What is Williams syndrome?
Well, Williams syndrome has Williams syndrome is very cool because I've been having it like for a long time.
Since you were born.
Since I was born.
Mhm.
I love being who I am, and you know, like when I was a little baby, I was just a little guy, and then when I became older in my age, my mom here didn't know about Williams syndrome that well because she was telling the nurse.
Well, the nurse was telling me all about it, and the doctor.
The doctor and the nurse told her about it, and she didn't know that well because Williams syndrome is very cool. Like I said, it doesn't affect me at all. There's a lot of my friends who have Williams syndrome. They like it too as well. And it's very cool because it's very, very cool just to have it. You know?
Isn't that a great attitude to have?
You know, I'm smiling over here, and I'm like, you just warm my heart because, yeah.
Thank you.
You did. You warm my heart, and that is the best attitude to have in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can give you the technical version of it if you want.
Okay.
Just for our listeners, you know, that have probably never heard of Williams syndrome, as Clayton said with me when he was diagnosed, of course, I had never heard of Williams syndrome. So immediately, you know, I wanted to research and find out as much as I could because I knew that this was going to be something that was, you know, going to be part of our life for the rest of our life. And believe it or not, it's a spontaneous deletion of at least 26 to 28 genes on the 7th chromosome.
Oh my God. So, like, what does that mean?
Exactly. And what happens is it's at the time of conception. So there was nothing that my husband at the time, his dad, or I could have done anything differently.
Right.
And it occurs, you know, with either the male or the female. So there's no, you know, it wasn't like it didn't happen because of me or happen because of him.
Right.
And there is the main gene that he's missing, so to speak, is called the elastin gene, which we don't think about that as much. But what that does is that helps with a lot of our firmness, you know, of our skin and things like that. So that is one of the things that he is missing. And so therefore, a lot of folks with Williams syndrome, they do tend to age quicker. just their physical appearances do. And he has a 50% chance, if he ever did have a child, he has a 50% chance of having a child with Williams syndrome, where I, on the other hand, if I was going to have any more children, which I'm not.
Why not? No kidding.
Yeah. The chances of me having another child with Williams syndrome are probably zero. It would be, but he, on the other hand, is. Some of the physical things that occur with Williams syndrome, though, Clayton does have a heart condition. He has what's called an aortic stenosis. So it's a narrowing of the aortic valve. So his blood has a really hard time pumping. Therefore, he has extremely high blood pressure, and he has to take medication before he has his teeth cleaned. He has a heart murmur, lots of things like that. He has some kidney issues that he does struggle with. So there are some health concerns there. We're fortunate that Clayton has not had to have open heart surgery to repair those valves. He does, have some valves that do need to be repaired probably sometime down the road, but right now we're just taking it one day at a time. And the surgery to do that would be very, very risky. Anesthesia is another thing that would be a problem when he does have surgery. So a normal procedure for Clayton is, just for example, if he had a heart cath, well, most of the time you can have a heart cath like as an outpatient. And like the surgery center, we have to go to the hospital with the anesthesiologist and everyone there. So it is a big deal for Clayton when he does have any type of surgery.
Why is that? What does the anesthesia do? Why is it dangerous?
What happens is when he had an episode a few years ago that was really kind of life-changing for us because he does have high blood pressure. His blood pressure stays high even on 3 different medications.
Wow.
Where we worry is when the blood pressure drops. So when you go under anesthesia, what happens? Your blood pressure drops.
Yep.
Okay, that's what they do. So a few years ago, it's been about 6 years now, he had, we looked at him, we were standing in the kitchen, we looked at him, we could tell he was getting very pale. He totally passed out. I went immediately and grabbed the blood pressure cuff. I could not even get his blood pressure to register.
Oh my goodness.
That is like in the danger zone with someone with Williams syndrome, because what happens is their heart can immediately stop. So we went to the hospital. He was admitted to the hospital. He ended up having kidney failure because he was dehydrated. So keeping him hydrated is very, very important. We would almost rather the blood pressure be high versus low. So when he does have a situation like that where it drops, it's very, very serious. So that's why the cardiologist has to be on hand with the anesthesiologist when they are putting him under for any reason. And he has, been under before with anesthesia. It's just that we have to have a whole team on hand when that happens, due to the fact that we don't want to lose him on the table like that.
God, no. Well, let me ask you, what were some of the symptoms that, being diagnosed with something that is so rare? There's 1 in 20,000 people are diagnosed with.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember. So what led you to think that something was different and that maybe, what led to this diagnosis? What were some of the symptoms that you saw?
Sure. Well, when he was talking about when he was a little baby, of course, I have an older son that's 2 years older. So as a mom, you compare your kids. You can't help it. So I had a 2-year-old already. And when Clayton was born, my first son, JB, was 8 pounds, 9 ounces when he was born. So he was a big baby. Clayton was 3 weeks early and only weighed 5 pounds. So he was tiny. I had a great pregnancy, other than the fact he did come early. After he was born, when the nurse came in the room, this was when they first started doing those prenatal hearing screens, or not prenatal, but after you have a baby and they come in and do a hearing screen, the nurse came in and she said, "Oh, by the way, your son is deaf." And I'm like, "What?" Here I just had this baby, and you know how it is. It's just, all your hormones are crazy anyway.
Yeah.
So it was very emotional. And I was like, I knew he wasn't deaf. I just knew it. And so we they said, you just need to set up an appointment later on with a hearing specialist. And we're like, okay. So we got him out of the hospital, and he cried and cried and cried pretty much for the first 10 months. This child cried every single minute of every single day.
This young man right here in front of me.
I know. And so it was so overwhelming for me as a mom. You have this child that will not quit crying. And so many say, oh, well, moms know their babies cries. Well, not if they cry all the time. You don't. Right. So I remember it just like it was yesterday. This one night he was crying and crying, and I was losing it. Literally, I was losing it. So I called a friend and I said, I need help. And I got him loaded in the car, got my other son loaded in the car, drove to her house, which was about 30 minutes away, walked in her door, literally had Clayton in my hands and handed him to her. And he quit crying. And I felt like the worst mom ever. And so the next day we took him to the pediatrician. Come to find out he had full-blown pneumonia in both lungs. And I didn't even know it because he cried all the time. Right. So he was admitted immediately to the hospital. After 7 days, his lungs became clear. And my pediatrician then heard a heart murmur. So he is 9 months old at this point, and it was the first time truly that his lungs had been clear enough that my doctor could even hear that there was something going on. So he referred Clayton to a cardiologist at the University of Kentucky. We went to the cardiologist that day. Her name is Dr. Noonan. She has since passed away, but she was amazing. She immediately recognized that Clayton had a heart condition, and she knew exactly what it was. And she even told me what it was, the aortic stenosis. And she told me then, she said, have you ever heard of Williams syndrome? And that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. Now, mind you, I went to the hospital thinking we were getting, probably going to be diagnosed with a heart murmur, but I'll walk away with a whole new life-changing diagnosis. I was by myself. Wow. So it was very overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Because, Clayton's 26 years old. So 26 years ago, the internet is not what it is today. So, and we were at a teaching hospital. So of course you can imagine all the young doctors that were totally fascinated with this diagnosis because it is very rare. Yeah. And I, on the other hand, was overwhelmed by all of the doctors that began to swarm him. One of the things that's a very big characteristic of someone with Williams syndrome is they have what's called a starburst in their eye. And if you read about Williams syndrome, you'll notice that is a big thing. And Clayton has the most gorgeous eyes. And he does have that starburst that's so dominant. Yeah. And they were fascinated with his eyes. So they kept looking at his eyes. And then the next thing I know, they bring out books because, like I said, the internet wasn't what it is now. Back in 1996 when he was born. And they brought a book which talked about Williams syndrome. And in that book, I remember sitting there looking through these pictures and reading. And of course, it was probably the worst case scenario that they show you and tell you. Right. So I remember I walked away that day. I walked out of that doctor's office. Then we referred to a genetist. And I walked out of there with my little baby, 9 months old, carrying him out of there with tears just running down my face because while I was happy to finally have an answer, I did not understand what I was being faced with at the time. And so being the person that I am, I had my moment. I call it my little pity party that I had. Yeah. And I came home and then I began to research and do as much diving in and finding out about Williams syndrome as I could. But I made a decision that day when I walked out of that doctor's office that I was not going to treat him any differently than I would my other son, JB, who did not have any type of a diagnosis. I thought, you know what? This is not going to change the way that I feel about my son or how I'm going to raise him or anything. And so that really began the road to advocacy, kind of to begin to advocate not only for folks who are families, who had a diagnosis of a child with Williams syndrome, but it has led me down the road now here 26 years later of being an advocate for families who just have a child that has been diagnosed with any disability. So my whole career changed at that point, pretty much.
We're going to stop right there because that's a great stopping point for the next segment. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to take a commercial break. So don't you go anywhere, and don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with more from Clayton and Stella as soon as we come back from this commercial break.
Do you or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home with our healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
Welcome to Sunday Dinner with Chef Clementa. This is an all-new show about family cooking, Sunday dinner, things we did as a child, bringing back some memories and some tradition. This is how this dish was born. I'm going to show you that in just a couple of minutes. So, the trick with the meatballs too, when you fry them, you don't want to overcrowd the pan too much. Just a drizzle, not too much of olive oil, right on top of that fish. So, a little flour. A little egg, cella luna, met somebody, everybody drink some wine. Everything's still going. Pass them around, everybody eat a little bit. Come on. You gotta dance. Oh, mama! Get together, go visit your mother, your sister, your cousin, bring some pastry, some food, get together, eat, drink, be happy. Who wants some linguine, clams, and pastry?
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. We have Stella and we have Clayton here with us. So welcome back, Stella and Clayton.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to ask you, you had mentioned something about a cocktail personality. What does that mean, a cocktail personality?
Well, as you can see with Clayton, he loves everyone. He is super friendly. When we walk in a room, Clayton steals the show. So we call that cocktail personality is someone who really never meets a stranger, loves everyone. The thing that I adore about Clayton is that he doesn't see color, he doesn't see gender, he doesn't see anything that we look at as being different. Clayton truly does not see fault, I guess is probably the best way to put it. He just sees the good in everyone. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. So as we know, with someone who is so outgoing and loves people, therefore that stranger awareness is not on his radar as it is on my radar. And so with Clayton not really, thinking he knows everyone. He loves to meet people. Whenever we go anywhere, Clayton knows everyone. He knows people, everybody's like, hey, Clayton, how are you doing? I truly am just Clayton's mom when we go out places.
I believe it.
Yes. But that personality that comes across like that is wonderful. But as I said, it's also a little scary too. So, therefore, we constantly have to work on. And I remember when he was little, I tried this little technique that I had heard somewhere about trying to teach him what a stranger is and what, a family member is. So I would put pictures on, you probably remember this, Clayton, but I would put pictures on his mirror of family. So he would have me, his dad, his brother, anyone in our family that was trustworthy, close friends. And then I'd put pictures that I just cut out of a magazine, or maybe like a famous movie star or something, and I'd put them up there.
Right.
Well, immediately he would see, oh yeah, this is family. But then after a while, he just associated these folks as friends too. So it was very hard. And it still is hard to this day at 26 years old to try to, you really can't break that from someone that is who they are as a person. So trying to get him to not go up to everyone is really difficult. Now we have, as he has gotten older, he used to want to hug everyone. We don't do that anymore. We always put our hand out, and we taught him that early on, just extend your hand and shake a hand. Right. Even going up to a dog on the street, I'm always going, Clayton, you have to ask first. He just immediately wants to go up to them. So it's something that is a great thing, because I've learned so much from him as far as what loving people unconditionally is like. Yeah. But then it's also been a struggle too, with the good thing about living in a small town is that everyone pretty much knows Clayton. And so that is a safety feature on my end. Knowing where he works, people know him. And so I feel like I have the support team around him all the time.
Yeah, no, it's funny because everyone always tells me I'm a hugger like you, Clayton. And I can't help myself. I love everybody. I'm the same way. And in so many ways. And it isn't the best thing, unfortunately, because you get hurt. People take advantage of your kindness. And I like to see the good in people also. So I love that about you. But you're right. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
So Clayton, you work. Tell me about your job.
Okay, so I work at this restaurant called the Bread Like Cafe. I've been there about 7 years.
7 years.
I started in 2015.
And 7 years? I don't even know. Somebody count.
Yeah, 7 years.
He's great with that kind of stuff. I'm like, is that 7 years?
Yeah, 7 years. So I actually started in 2015 when I wanted a job at the Bread Like Cafe, and then I kept on going, and I actually started back in 2020. Right?
What were you doing in 2020? Oh, yes, because he was off for COVID.
I was off for COVID.
That's right, yes. We were, the restaurant shut down for a
while. So... yeah, it was, and I think like the baddest part was about my job is that in 2020, when the pandemic started going on and everything like that, I had to wear a mask.
Everyone had to wear a mask.
Like that.
Very, very weird and odd.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, so... I just kept on doing my job, and I actually love it. The people there are really awesome, and I don't get mad or anything like that, or I don't get frustrated or...
What do you do there?
I work in the kitchen. I do dishes.
Awesome.
And then you also put food on the buffet.
The buffet and stuff like that.
Clean some tables every now and then.
I don't clean tables.
You don't do the tables? Oh, okay. But you bring food to the buffet.
Yes.
Okay.
I just do that. I don't do tables.
The neat thing about working at the Bread of Life is that when he started there, he had to have what we call like a job coach or a mentor that worked with him for a little while until he was able to understand and get his routine down. And now we just use like the natural supports there, like his folks that he works with that help him, as needed. Yeah. And he knows to go to certain people when he needs help. Yep. But now he clocks in, he clocks out, he does his own thing. And he works, you work Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah. So I work on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then the rest of the weekend I'm off.
Except he works on the farm.
I work on the farm.
So tell me what you do on the farm.
I do. I feed the chickens. I Let me see.
What do you pick up every morning?
The eggs. We
Wow.
have the eggs, and
You help feed the cows.
I feed the
sometimes.
cows.
Yeah.
Of course, we got cows and
Water flowers.
water the flowers and stuff like that.
Whose farm is this? Is this your farm?
Yes, in my
Wow.
hometown. Yes, ma'am.
Does mom pay you?
Well,
No,
I feed him.
she feeds me, but
We
yeah.
eventually, our goal and Clayton's goal is we would love for him to have his own little house on the farm. And so we have talked about that, about building him a small home there on the farm. So he has his own space. He can eventually, live, but still be close enough to us that if he needs anything, he's close enough to us. But
Yeah,
he
I
still
think
has
Yeah.
his own space.
Great idea. That's a great idea. Let me ask you, what was I going to ask you? What I want to ask you, okay, growing up, like when you were in school, now, first of all, I heard you were a prom king. Like
I was.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I went to prom like in 2015, and I didn't know they were going to do a prom. I did not even know that they were going to do a prom at the high school. And
Well, you didn't know they were going to have prom king.
yeah, prom king.
Yeah.
So all my friends from high school wanted me to be the prom king, and I was really excited.
They voted on you.
They voted on
Yeah.
me, and I was like, "Thank you, guys," and all that. And
you were also runner up on
Homecoming
the homecoming
court.
court. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
at Casey County High School. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
And I just so happened to be there that night because my husband is one of the principals at the high school. So we were chaperoning. So it just so happened I got to see the whole thing. So it was kind of cool.
How amazing is that? Did you video? Did you record?
Oh, well, Lord, yes. Of course.
Proud mom over there.
Yes. And that was before TikTok. So I would have, it would be on TikTok if I had it
and
back
my mom
then.
does TikTok videos too.
I've seen. I love them. I don't know if I've seen Instagram or TikTok or both. I think
Probably both.
Probably both.
yeah, awesome videos. Awesome. I've seen now. We're going to talk about someone very special to you in the next segment, but I have to bring her up real quick. You have a beautiful girlfriend.
Oh yes, I do. I've been dating this girl for about
6 years, I think.
6 years now. Yeah,
5 or 6 years. I
5 or
can't
6
remember.
years.
Wow.
Long time.
That is a long time. And she's beautiful. We're going to talk about her a little more in the next segment. But yeah, I couldn't help myself because I love seeing the videos. You talk about the videos. I love the videos of the two of you together and the pictures and,
Thank you. Thank you.
true love. I love it. Now, something that you enjoy. I mean, I know with Williams syndrome, when we were speaking, Stella, like, people focus on one thing, right? And explain it for me, maybe. But there's more.
So Clayton has always been one of the I guess kind of characteristics of Williams syndrome is they do have they call it an affinity to music. So they're very musically inclined. I don't want to say all are, but the majority of those are. Now, Clayton, I'm also a singer, so Clayton gets some of his music background. I want to say for me, my grandparents were both musicians, singers, so it's also part of our DNA. But then with Williams syndrome, there is an extra level that seems to be added there. There's a lot of research done about that for children and adults with Williams syndrome on the music part of it. So it's kind of fascinating. I say this all the time, Clayton he recognizes music. When he was 3, I caught him listening to opera. And he would listen for hours. Do you remember that? And he's always still you still kind of like opera.
Yes, I do. I love opera music.
But his main thing that he is just, his focus has been, I guess, so to speak, is drums. And then he loves marching bands.
Yes.
Very fascinated with marching bands and Southern gospel quartets.
Wow.
That has been his kind of, wheelhouse that he is really just focused on and loved. And if you ask him anything about marching bands, he probably knows it. If you ask anything about Southern gospel groups, he knows that too. So he's kind of fixated on that more than anything, especially as he's gotten older. That's his thing. So what we usually get him for gifts, because Clayton's very hard to buy for, is usually we do experiences. So we go to a lot of concerts. We go to a lot of music events. Like we'll talk about that. But when Isabel was here, you know, we took them to Nashville and went and listened to bands, because the making those memories like that means more than me giving him a gift of you know, something that he can hold, because he has every instrument already. He already has all the instruments.
Wait,
so now we do the experiences.
I have to ask, do you have a trombone?
No, I do not.
But his brother played trombone in the marching band. So
I wish.
she plays the trombone, I think.
What?
Yes. Can you believe I don't look like I play a trombone? But
Trombone is very fun. My brother does a good job.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He has everything else, though. A banjo,
Guitar,
drums.
Wow.
That fiddle.
Fiddle. Mandolin.
Look, see, it just goes on and on.
And a bass guitar.
There's only so many instruments you can buy after a while. So
Exactly.
There's only so many places to put them.
Well, I used to have a drum set, but I gave it to one of my friends.
But what is your drum that you have now that is your favorite?
I have a marching snare drum.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Well, you know, I know you wrote music. We have about a minute left on this segment, but I know you wrote a beautiful song and you have music to it and you're going to sing it for us. So when we come back after this next commercial, I would love for you to introduce the next segment and sing in that. Song. Would you do that?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we will be right back after this commercial break. Make sure you come back, because first thing you're going to hear Clayton sing his own song, his own original. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Do you or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home where there are healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey. The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. We have Stella and we have Clayton. And Clayton, I want to introduce you and I want you to share all about your song that you're going to sing for us.
Absolutely, Cindy. So in 2011, my dad, Brad, passed away. and it was very hard for me because he was a good man, and I was really proud of him for what he's been doing for me and my brother JB and my other family members as well. So I'm gonna do y'all a song called Dear Dad, and it's a really good song. It's a sad song, but it's a good song. So here I go.
It's an amazing song because I've heard it, so everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, everyone, please love it.
Exactly. You listen to Clayton there. All right, the floor is yours.
All right. I used to fit in the palm of your hand. Now I'm changing and growing into a man even though you're gone. I'll stand strong. God's got a plan. But for now, just dance with angels and sing at the Savior's feet. Don't worry, Dad, I know that one day again we'll meet. Don't worry about Mom, I'll be sure to take care. Big brother promised he always been there even though you're gone. I'll stand strong, God's got a plan. But for now, just dance with angels and sing at the Savior's feet. Don't worry, Dad, I know that one day again we'll meet.
Woo! I
Thank
got
you.
tears. Oh my God. What a beautiful song. You wrote that
Thank
yourself.
you. Yes, I did.
You
And a
wrote
little
it.
backstory on that, he had a wonderful mentor that was working with him at the time named Zach. And Zach was a musician, and that's who you hear playing the guitar. And Zach was there with Clayton right after his dad passed away. And so Zach would go around, and as Clayton would talk about his dad, he would write words down. And so the words to that song were things that Clayton had talked about and had said and had questions about. And then Zach put the music to it. And so that's how that song began. So it's been very sweet.
Incredible. It is, first of all, the tune, the words, the meaning. Oh my God. And you sing it beautifully. You sing it
Thank you
beautifully.
so much.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Oh my God.
No problem.
Everyone better love that.
Yeah.
They're
I
going.
wrote it. I wrote it.
Exactly. How can you not love it? I truly, listen, Clay and I write song lyrics also. And I have to tell you, absolutely. In fact, your mom might be singing one of my songs soon.
Right.
But well, she will be. Yes. But I have to say, beautifully written, just beautifully heartfelt. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. So
thank you.
So back to your girlfriend and how did you meet? Because this has to do with music. So how did you two meet?
Well, I go to this camp every year in Nashville called the Lifting Lives Music Camp, and I actually went this year.
But when did you meet her? How long ago? When was it?
2016.
2016. She was there that year.
She was there that year, and we became friends. And I just decided to be with her. And she was like, I said to her, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?"
Oh.
She said, yeah. So she is a very, very sweet girl. It's it's never been the same without her because she's been there for me and I'm always there for her. Like it's very cool just to date a girl all the way from Florida.
Wow,
And
Florida.
It's all the way from Florida. So
Wow.
it's been a blessing.
And you make a beautiful couple. I mean, the two
Yeah.
of you look
We
beautiful
love each
together.
other. So,
Yeah. Oh, you could see the love. You could see the love.
I love it.
So I want to ask
He
you.
also has Williams syndrome. So
Yeah.
So okay, so both have Williams syndrome. You both met and she loves the opera, doesn't she?
Yeah, she sings at her church.
Wow.
She sings with the choir.
Oh, so
she
nice.
plays the piano beautifully.
Yes, she does. Very cool.
Never had a lesson, just picked it up all on her own.
Well, I have a personal question to ask.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Would you ever get married?
Maybe.
Did I put you on the spot, Clayton?
I think you did.
I love it. Well, listen, 7 years together already, right?
Yeah, 7 years.
One day, maybe. Who knows?
One day it might happen.
I want to be there, okay? If there's a wedding.
Okay, I'll invite you. I will invite you.
Thank you. I'm holding you to that. So let me ask you about oh goodness, hold on. I have so many notes here. Hold on a second. Driving. Do you drive? I wanted to know.
No, I am not the driver. Actually, my mom here is my driver. So she drives me around wherever I need to go. She takes me, and then she's the one that drives me around.
And he does have a personal ID, so he has his own, his own little ID card. But as far as driving, there's not many young adults that I know or adults with Williams syndrome that drive. One of the struggles that Clayton has is the spatial part of they call it spatial skills, I think is what the right word is. So it's very difficult for him because objects appear closer than they are. So it's very like even when he's driving, he is the worst backseat driver, I might add, because he's constantly, Mom, look out, constantly. But it's because he feels like everything is right there in front. So I am his driver. We have other folks in the family who drive him as needed. Right. Pretty much anywhere Clayton wants to go, we head down the road.
We head down the road, and that's about it.
Even to Nashville, we went to Nashville last week when Isabel was visiting, and just had a great time. I was the driver.
How far is that from you?
It's like 2 hours.
2 hours, 2 hour drive.
Not bad at all. But they had the best time. It was so wonderful. They went around. We just went around, for lack of a better word, bar hopped a little bit and went from bar to bar downtown and listened to the bands. And they were always the ones up front dancing and just had the best time. I was the purse holder. I held the purse. I had Isabel's purse. I had, I just sat back and watched them just have the time of their life, making those memories.
It was the three of you there?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
I love it. Mom is the coolest, isn't she, Clayton?
She's the best around.
I like to think I am at least cool.
So let me ask you about your advocacy. We have probably about 5 minutes left. And tell us a little bit how you advocate. I mean, you advocated for your son big time. And, tell us a little bit about that and then a little bit about what you're doing to help other people.
Sure, absolutely. As I said earlier, my kind of career changed. I wanted to be a cosmetologist. And so my career totally changed. I ended up going into special education because one of the things that I wanted to make sure of is that Clayton had a wonderful education. And so I began to find my way working through the school system and started out in the office and doing anything like that I could, helping with the PTA, just being involved any way that I could, and eventually ended up in the special education department. I don't have a degree in special education, but I think I probably know a whole lot since I've walked the road. And just being able to talk to other families and help them understand about special ed and that, there's such a stigma about it. I think a lot of times parents really don't want their child to be labeled, so to speak. So advocating in that regard and helping families understand that their voice matters and that they are a part of that team of making those educational decisions for their child. So I've been very, very involved in that. Worked for a couple of nonprofits in our state. One that was strictly for advocacy and was the director there for a while. And then one that worked with families who had kids with disabilities. And so I did so much advocacy in that area that it's just who I am now. I also work with families and help them navigate our Medicaid waiver system that we have here in Kentucky. There are waivers every state has Medicaid waivers, but I focus on Kentucky and helping families just understand that Clayton actually receives services from a Medicaid waiver. And so just since I walk it with him, helping others understand that is now what I'm doing. I kind of took a little bit of a break, but I'm now getting ready to dive back into a new kind of part-time job, back helping families again. So I'm very excited about that and those opportunities. And it's so much easier for a parent to talk to a parent that's walking, that has been there, done that, and is continuing to walk through all those stages. I say having a young adult or having a child actually with a disability is like those waves that you go through. We had the education, and now we are in the process of what's Clayton's life going to look like as he gets older as an adult, like with the girlfriend, his living situation, things like that. And so been there with all of the different milestones. And so just sharing what I know and the knowledge that I have gained and helping others is what I'm very passionate about.
Incredible. It's incredible. I have a last question for you. How will you prepare? Listen, we don't live forever. It's a horrible thing to think about, but you know what I'm asking. How do you prepare Clayton to live without you at one day? Because one day we won't be there,
Exactly. And that's always hard. I am not Clayton's guardian. I am actually his power of attorney. And so what we have done is we have set up what we call supported decision making. And for any of the listeners, you can read about that. It is an amazing thing that I'm very excited about, very proud of, that we have been a part of that in our own state. And what that means is that, we've set up a team of people around Clayton that he can reach out to as he needs things. Just like we all use supported decision making, you just don't know that you do. But I don't do my own taxes. I go to someone else who knows how to prepare taxes. So that's supported decision making.
Right.
We have put a team around Clayton that will help him in the future know who to go to other than just mom. And it teaches him, wow, if I need help with this, I go to this person. If I need help with this, I can go to this person. And it's easier said than done, but it is something that we have been very diligent on making sure that plan is in place. I have this notebook that if my house caught on fire, I would grab that notebook because it's called life. In that notebook that I worked really hard to prepare. So if something happened to me tomorrow, everyone who is important in my life and Clayton's life knows where that notebook is. And it's everything. It's his wishes. It's his plan. It's his will. It's his, all of our important documentation, his medication information. And so I help families create that type of a system for them so that at night they can go to bed knowing, okay, I know Clayton's taken care of. If it's not by me, it's by someone that I love and cherish and trust. And so helping families walk through that process is very difficult. Like you said, it's hard to talk about it, but it's something that's so, so needed, and it has to be done now versus later.
And whether your child has Williams syndrome or anything or nothing, I mean, whatever, that's a great idea. I think I want to go home and fill my book up.
Yes.
Because I'm a little disorganized.
Yeah, bless my husband's heart, he wouldn't know where anything is.
Right, exactly.
I didn't have it written out somewhere. So it's a time consuming task, but it's very much needed.
No, it's very, very smart. Well, our time is up today. I want to thank the two of you for being on my show and sharing your beautiful stories. Clayton, thank you for singing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Can you tell people how they could find you? Because I know you have quite a following.
So the people that are watching, y'all can find me on my Facebook page, or I have another Facebook page called Clayton Carroll Speaks. So
you can follow him on there.
Y'all can follow me on there.
Awesome. And that's Facebook, Instagram, you said, TikTok?
Just Facebook. He's just Facebook.
Just Facebook.
No Instagram, just Facebook.
Okay. Awesome. And Stella, how can they find you?
Of course, I'm on all of the platforms, I know. I'm on all of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I think on Instagram, it's Stella W. Beard on Instagram. On TikTok, I think I'm Stella Sings. 59 is TikTok, and then Facebook is Stella Wilson Beard.
Awesome.
Lots of stories about Clayton and Isabel on Instagram and TikTok, though.
Awesome stories. You guys all have to watch.
Yes, please do.
Well, thank you both again.
Thank you, so Cindy. We have so loved talking with you and getting to know you. It's been wonderful.
And it won't stop.
That's right. That's right. Long distance besties, remember?
Exactly. You know it. And soon, girl. Soon.
That's right. Yes.
Extensions, baby.
Right. You're going to love it.
I cannot wait. We will be right back after this commercial break for my final thoughts. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville, and I'm here with my final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed our show today. I did. Oh my God, how can you not? How can you not fall in love with Clayton and Stella? Incredible people, an incredible story. So my final thoughts. We can all learn from Clayton. Clayton has the best attitude in life. Clayton is so accepting and loving and warm and genuine. We should all become more accepting. We should all be more loving. We should all be kinder to each other. We should all focus on the positives rather than the negatives. So he is such an inspiration. I love that he loves who he is. He says, I have Williams syndrome, and I love it. So, I mean, how amazing. Embrace who you are. Love yourself. Love others. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next week. Remember, comment, like, and share if you want to win this book. And make sure you comment on Clayton's song. He did an incredible job, and he sang it for you. So make sure you make a nice little comment. Share the show for Clayton. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Live your life like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open yourself so the world can